Where do I begin with these? Second chance for the most part isn't the exotic gloves you Titans are looking for, like at all. There's one scenario. I will give it that. But it seems like every season we have one. Like last season, Blight Ranger for Hunter, but Titans got Lorelei. This season, Hunter's got Caliban's Hand. The Titans got Second Chance. And I'm going to go through some scenarios where you might want to use them. But even then, it's pretty simple. I think that there's just better options. You can do some things in lower level play. But that's about it. And when I look at it, like the quick YouTube checklist, is it insane? No. Meta? No. Open mouth reaction and thumbnail? No. I'm never going to do that. Red arrow? No. So I'm glad we got that out of the way. Second chance. Gains a second charge of your shield throw melee, which becomes shield piercing and stuns barrier champions. So the first thing to talk about is the stun capability. And in reality, that's why you want to use them. So low level champion activities. It's going to be best if they're broken down like this, because if you're in an activity where you're of power, overpower, or slightly underpower, this is actually a viable pick. I am gonna give it that. There's nothing wrong with it. So I can't say that these are bad all around, because in these activities, this shield throw will stun them. You can count on it. That's what you want. The melee cooldown is fast at tier 10, 39-second cooldown, and you have 2 charges. When you combine things like Melee Wellmaker, Bountiful Wells, you get 2 Void Wells on those kills and hits, and the Void Wells are giving ability energy to all Void abilities, charging up the double melee charge. So there's a dance between cooldown, stunning, a little bit of overshield when you get hits with it, some other things, but it does allow Titan to open up the loadout. You don't necessarily have to run anti-barrier, and that's nice. So in these Legend Lost sectors, again, where you're of power, a little over, a little under, they do good. However, we need to talk about higher level champion activities. The issue comes in when you're under-leveled, going into higher tier aspirational content, let's say a GM. But even here, I am 15 levels lower than the Master Lost sector. And with something like this, you are picking them because of that capability to break champion shields. The issue is, with that content, one shield throw is not enough. That is a huge problem. And it's a problem for a number of reasons. Number one, if I could jump on Warlock with the Secant Filaments, use any weapon I desire to stun an overload and do it well, that shows a glaring difference with how these can operate on champions. Sure, one's overload, one's anti-barrier, but there's a clear difference with how they operate. If I want to use Galahorn and just stun and obliterate, I can and I will. The Secant Filaments are a top choice. I have that freedom. I can use them in GMs. My teammates can use them in GMs from inside the Rift. And the Rift is a tier 10, 41-second cooldown. I can place it anywhere I want. I can use it. My teammates can use it to stun an overload champion. The Second Chance Gauntlets say I can stun champions. It has a 39-second cooldown tier 10. To stun a champion, it takes 2, so it's 2 39-second cooldowns. And then all my melees are spent, so I better hope myself or my fire team can finish the stun. If not, there would need to be other anti-barrier players in the fire team. Or again, yourself run anti-barrier. And if we're at that point, and sure, you can do things like start off with an anti-barrier weapon, throw the shield to finish it, or throw the shield first, finish it off with the weapon, but then we're at a weird point. Is a reload on an infinite primary weapon that bad to finish off? I don't think that it is. You can do that or blow an ability. A 39-second cooldown. So big issues in higher level content. You're much better using a lot of different things. And like I said, you can count on the Secant Filaments, you can't count on these. You would just use Arbalest, use Ariana's Vow. So as far as stunning champions, I will give it that. In lower level activities where there are anti-barrier, it can do well. No issues with it, just for loadout freedom. But in higher end content, it's gonna irritate you more than it's gonna help you and your fire team. I wouldn't use them. There's so many better options for a Void Titan. I also do have to mention, yes, you get a little bit of overshield when you get those shield hits, so that can keep you alive, but you already have one, you don't necessarily need 2. So we have lower level champions, higher level champions. Now let's talk about general play. I don't see a reason to run them for general play. Not over Heart of Inmost Light, not over a number of things. I mean, there are some pretty cheeky things that you can do since you do have 2 shield throws. If you're charged with light, have heavy-handed. And when you do have 2 charges, both charges have to be depleted and you have to do it pretty quick. That way you can get half of the melee back. And let's say you have an arc class item with outreach. Reduces melee cooldown when you use your class ability. You can do things like shield throw a vortex, shield throw, pop the barricade, shield throw. But that's just kind of a novelty. And right now we're into Solar 3.0. We've already had Void 3.0. We're getting ready to be in Arc 3.0 pretty soon. As far as survivability with overshield hits, heal, classy restoration, restoration in general, Solar's kind of got that covered. So when you run Void Titan, you're doing it for volatile rounds. You're doing it for, let's say, Devour when you pick up an orb. You're doing it mainly for the Bastion Overshield. Maybe you can keep that up a little bit longer with shield hits, yeah. But if you're trying to stay alive, Solar's kind of got that covered right now. Unless you just want to mess around with them, I don't think that they're very good for general play at all. What I would have liked to have seen is these be the Claws of Ahamkara of Titan. I would have loved to have had 2 Bonk Hammers. I would have loved to have had 2 Ballistic Slams for Code of the Missile, or have 2 Shoulder Charges, things like that. There would have been a ton of utility with that, but this, it gets narrowed down to this weird thing. I'm going to be honest with you, the shield throw isn't that good. The actual melee, my personal opinion, it isn't that good. That goes for all content, PvE or PvP. But the current iteration, it's 2 shield throws. As far as PvE, I think it just has that one thing, low-level Lost Sector farming for exotics. Moving on to PvP, there are some interesting things that you can do. But the thing is, you can do those things without that second charge anyway. You could always do them. Just now, I guess, you do have the benefit of working with the second charge in the background. Again, Lorelei on Solar. We have Dune Marchers, the Greaves, OEM, many more. I wouldn't sacrifice the things that those give you for a second Void Shield Throw melee, because that's all you're getting in the Crucible, that's all you're getting in general play. But I have been doing a couple things with this exotic, and to me, when it comes to certain things, Monte Carlo shouldn't make a melee build. Mechanitor's Trick Sleeves shouldn't make a sidearm build, and so on. There has to be some things that you can do with a piece of gear without those to make them shine. But I found myself with Monte Carlo the majority of my playtime with these, just because it gives it that extra push. When I run Claws of Ahamkara, I don't need to use Monte Carlo. There's a ton of things you can do on Warlock with those. But with Second Chance, having that second Void Shield, some of the time I was using Explosive Personality or Dead Messenger wave launchers. Shoot the wave, follow up with the shield. And depending on the resilience level, it will down them. And in that scenario, I get the down, I get the overshield, and as far as fragments, I have things like leeching. So melee final blows start health regen for me and nearby allies, persistence for the OV lasting longer in exchange. Melee final blows granting grenade energy. So you're kind of working with its specific rules to get it going, and again, a second charge allows you to get a little overshield more than before. But in the end, to me at least, it isn't enough. The shield damage is weak, and most of the Crucible are these guys right here. Just tank the combo, so even this setup is flawed. It's kind of an uphill battle going in. I did end up on Disruption Break, Explosive Personality with Monte Carlo, because what I would do is I would shoot the wave, throw the shield, switch to Monte Carlo. At that point, if I got the final blow, I got my health back, I got my overshield, I got the ×5 Markov chain. And if I didn't get the melee final blow, I at least have the cleanup with Monte Carlo dealing 50% more kinetic damage. Little streaks, little moments, none of them were defining. Not like an everyday Dune, Lorelei, nothing like that. And as I said earlier, in the PvE sections, I just don't think that the shield throw is good. I also had some good times with Collective Obligation. But again, I could do this without this exotic. But since I have another ability cooling down, gave me a little cushion. I could tag with my grenade, shoot them, get a tag with the shield throw melee, because when you have uncontrolled demolition, those ability tags are making them volatile. So I would leech the volatile rounds. All I need to do is leech 2 abilities. There is a little cooldown, so you can do it on the same target. Could even be back-to-back volatile tags. Once I have the perk, hold reload, then I have volatile rounds. It was fun, I had a good time, but then again, like I said, this could be done with only one melee. And when it comes to general play, PvE, PvP, that's all it is, a second shield toss, and that shield toss isn't anything special. I do wish it was like Ahamkara, double melee on any Titan subclass, and the only thing, again, is just base Lost Sector farming. That is a good thing, because if you're trying to speed things up, you can mow through the ads, go to the champions, when you see the barrier come up, throw the shield. Very fast, very efficient, it breaks, you melt. That's the only utility that it has. That's its one true job. But as a whole, summed up, it has one job, and it kind of sucks at it. Because as you go up and play, you need 2 of them. Why not just use your infinite ammo primary from a distance? And I wonder if Bungie took that into consideration. Because let's say it did one-shot anti-barrier champion shields and GMs. Would it be OP? What if you only had 1 shield, but it did guarantee an anti-barrier stun? We'll never know. But what I do know is that this exotic is left somewhere in between, just riding the wave of mediocrity. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. I haven't seen one Titan with these things on. I check, not one. I want to know if you're one of them. But let's talk about Second Chance down below. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.